Hello, everybody, and welcome to our today's session of Revinate's COVID-19 video series. My name is Nea, and I'm a Senior Regional Manager for DACH at Revinate, and I'm very happy to welcome Isabel Jan, co-founder of the company Private Deal today. Today, we will talk about the COVID impact on bookings in 2020 versus 2019, but also the great opportunity for hoteliers to focus on direct booking strategies these days. And lastly, you will also learn how Revinate and Private Deal can help you to prepare for the upcoming future. Isabel, welcome.
Thanks, Nia, for your invitation. We created Private Deal in 2017 in partnership with École Hôtelière de Lausanne in Switzerland. So what we do is very simple. We help hotels boost their direct bookings thanks to our smart negotiation technology. Guests can negotiate their stay on the hotel website and get an instant response from the system and pay online in less than 2 minutes.
Great. Well, let's jump into the first question for today then. Since you are very active in Switzerland, how did COVID-19 affect the booking situation in Switzerland in the last year?
I would say first that no one was prepared for this. Suddenly, hotels needed to do more with less, more because of the sanitary measures which happened, and also raising guest expectations, with less means because the flow of clients was considerably lower. Just to talk about Switzerland, there has been a drop of 40% of the bookings in 2020 versus previous year. And let's say that the customer flow was coming mainly from Switzerland because we had 68% local travelers in 2020 versus 45% usually before. So the hospitality sector in Switzerland suffered in general globally, but city hotels far more than mountain hotels, and business hotels also more than leisure hotels. So to face these difficulties, hotels try to reinvent themselves and strived to adapt their offering to turn their business and their business model into new ones, like former business hotels, inventing a new family-friendly places with attractive packages for the holidays, for instance. We have seen also emerging trends like remote office concepts, long stay offerings replacing rooms by the night. They use offerings also to open the hotel to local city travelers and sell 24 hours. So lots of hotels challenge not only their business model, but also the way they're operating to comply with the sanitary measures. A number of our clients implemented electronic check-ins, for instance, concierge apps. They externalized, for instance, their cleaning resources. They adopted new cleaning technologies. They adopted new solutions to sell more indirect. And that's not all. The list is probably very long. And not to talk about only the hotels, but the guest behavior also changed a lot during the pandemic. And these trends will probably still be valid and continue in 2021. First move and first change of behavior is to turn to local travel and rediscover the country. Then we observe also a surge of a new generation of traveling nomad entrepreneurs. A third trend is a change in the criteria of choice of the destination or an hotel, for instance. People are more price conscious. They are looking for customized offers. They are looking for sanitary measures, and they are looking to trust their hotel finally. So, what about you, Neha? What did you observe on your markets?
Yeah, I see a lot of similarities in Germany, actually, based on what you just mentioned. When we talk about the numbers, I also see the decrease of 39% in touristic overnight stays. And we see the same number or the same pattern, basically, that the cities were impacted way higher than the rural areas. So in our case, it's not the mountains, but the rural areas in general. And then also the business hotels were impacted more than leisure properties, which of course is also due to the lack of the MICE business, basically, so meeting incentives and events as well. I think one number that is extremely shocking is if you compare the December 2020 to December 2019, there's a drop of 75% in overnight stays, which is also due to the fact that the Christmas business in December is very, very strong in Germany with the Christmas markets, etc. And then this year or last year in 2020, we've been in a complete lockdown for that period, of course. Yeah, that's very scary to see. But one thing that I think hoteliers should also keep in mind for this year is actually something, positive in the sense is that last year the decrease in domestic travel was by 1/3, so around 33%. But the decrease of international travel, same what you just mentioned actually, was by 2/3, so roughly 64%. So properties with their main target group within the country, or those that actually focused on the domestic markets, did not struggle so much. And sometimes we could even see that they profited it from the situation on an individual level even, especially in the rural areas. So yeah, that's, I think, a trend that will continue this year as well, but we will talk about it a little bit later. Digitalization, I fully agree with you, has become a bigger topic overall in the hospitality industry. People are using that slow time to look into alternatives, looking into automate the guest journey overall. So that's very interesting. But yeah, overall, this whole journey brings me to the next question. What about the booking channels? Do we see a difference here? Because based on our clients' feedback and also a SiteMinder research that I just recently saw, I see a boost in direct bookings overall during the pandemic. The own hotel website actually climbed up on the 4th rank of booking channels, which is really nice to see. Do you have similar observations in Switzerland?
That's very interesting, actually. Our hotel partners reported all more visits on their hotel website. And it is actually supported by official statistics. I don't know if you saw this study of Skift. It's quite recent, November 2020. The direct booking market shares went up from 21% to 28% in 1 year, all included, all channels included. It's very important. It's a really major move forward more direct bookings. And this is very, very noticeable in all kinds of hotel businesses, not only in Switzerland. I think this is a general search. This statistics is worldwide. So it's really, it happened in all countries. In our country also, what we could observe is that the hotel reported also operational and commercial issues during the pandemic with the OTAs. OTAs, being intermediaries, had lots of difficulties to cope and to align their policies, their cancellation policies actually, to the hotel cancellation policy. And it led to a really tense situation. We had hotel partners living forced guest refunds, double refunds, and this kind of situation. So it has been a difficult time, and probably the OTA model showed also its limits, which also encouraged the people and the visitors, the guests in general, to go on the hotel website and try to find a direct relationship with the hotel. So what is your experience on that point, Nia?
Yeah, I see those limitations in that relationship in the last year as well. I think from a hotelier's perspective, the relationship to OTAs has been always a love and hate relationship, if you can say that, because paying 15 to 20% commission could easily add up to 50% of the hotelier's profit, actually, which is a lot. But with the beginning of the pandemic, I think when hoteliers were forced, especially by the big OTAs, to refund their non-refundable bookings, that was really an eye-opener for hoteliers that they're not in control of this partnership. So I think that was very difficult to see. And I think also when we look into the future, even though being like 100% independency from OTAs won't be realistic for hoteliers overall, but I do think it's very important, of course, to focus on the direct booking strategy. Do you agree with that?
Definitely, definitely. You just mentioned it before. Direct booking means a direct relationship with the client. And it allows everything. It allows flexibility. It allows flexibility in the conditions, flexibility in the booking. It reduces the costs, and it increases definitely the customer's trust and satisfaction. We have talked about the cost. When we talk about the cost, don't forget that we are talking about a proportion of 1 to 20 between a direct booking system and an OTA. So definitely, direct bookings should be part of a global good distribution strategy. And to be more specific on this subject, we know, and it has been measured by Google, that 52% before the pandemic, 52% of the customers, after selecting an hotel on an OTA, were going on the hotel website to check. And this movement has really significantly increased due to the pandemic. So we asked our hotel partners why. What are the clients looking for? What are they asking when they call your hotel? And actually, the answer was to get additional information they couldn't find on booking.com. Like, is the spa open? Is the restaurant open? How many people per table? If you want to be in the whole family or with friends, can we have a discount for a longer stay? So all these questions are really very, very important for an hotelier, because it's the sign that he needs to work on the client relationship and that he needs to keep his client indirect. And if, as an hotelier, you provide a clear information on the website, attractive and safe offers, and a way to get what the client wants at their own budget, then you win. So what about your experience on that point, Nia?
I fully agree. And I think hoteliers should focus on the direct booking strategy already, for the one big reason that the direct bookers do cancel way less overall, which is also statistically proven. So the bookings are overall safer bookings for the hoteliers. But my two favorite points why to focus on direct bookings are definitely the guest data and the better relationship, which we also mentioned earlier, because you are so much more in control to build a sustainable relationship with your guests. Make sure that they get the right offers based on their preferences, etc., when you know them, basically. So what I'm referring to here is the personalization, of course. The personalization is the key to enhance direct bookings, but this personalization along the whole guest journey is only possible with capturing the relevant data, of course, right? So it's kind of a circle, basically. One leads to the other, and that again leads to personalization. And what you just mentioned is very interesting, Isabel, that during the pandemic, we saw that travelers are actually reaching out to the hoteliers directly way more. That's something that we've seen as well, because they consider the hotels as the source of truth now when it comes to hygiene measurements, when it comes to more information, what you just said. So I think this is actually the chance for the hoteliers to maintain that relationship, to develop that relationship even further, and keep continuing with the guests on the direct communication channels, basically. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is all related to the best practices, which already leads me to the next question for today. How should hoteliers prepare for this year, 2021? Isabel, do you have some specific thoughts on this?
Well, just to focus on the sales side, because we're not talking about organization here, about costing, which is a completely different subject, right? Just to talk about the sales side, definitely I would have 4 main and simple recommendations. The first one is to review the sales channel mix and focus more on direct bookings. Still integrating, of course, obviously the OTAs, which make percentage of the revenues, but focus on the direct bookings. Then second recommendation is to adapt the offering to the targeted guest profile, because if you are changing the business model, you don't need to forget that you have new type of clients, new profiles coming in your hotel. So you need to adapt your offering. So do you have a leisure or business clients, family, single couples? Are you welcoming clients, for instance, during the day? Also, local travelers from your city, foreign clients, and whatever. So you need to have a clear view I come back to exactly what you said before. You need to know your client, and you need who is coming, and adapt the offering to their needs and their expectations. This is the second point. A third point, once you have done both of them, you align your website to the new offerings, and you make sure that the content is clear, complete. And one simple check is to check your website versus booking.com hotel, your hotel on booking.com. And at minimum, you should have exactly the same level of information on your website, but you should have additional information about sanitary measures. At minimum, you should have information about the available offering and what is not available, and always updated information. And you should give more attractive offering, creative packages which are available only on your website, for instance. And my last recommendation would be definitely to communicate regularly with the guests. I could see a clear difference between the hotels which did that in 2020, and it makes a differentiation because, in fact, when you communicate regularly with your guests, if you send, for instance, a monthly or bi-monthly newsletter to explain about what you put in place in your hotel to guarantee the safety of the guest, what you put in place as new offering for the spring, the summer, and the winter, and so on and so forth, people will start trusting you. You will build a relationship with your client. It will enhance your brand presence and also balance the constant presence of OTAs in your life. Because if you see the number of times you see the name of booking.com coming up when you're looking for anything on the web, just imagine that you can also be present in a different way with your clients. So these are my main recommendations, but I'm sure that you have a lot more to add on this point in terms of recommendations, Neha.
Well, you mentioned a lot of those very valuable insights already. So yeah, I think what I could add from our perspective a little bit from our day-to-day, basically when we talk to hoteliers, is next to what you just mentioned, is the make use of the own database. I think this is more important than ever these days. And during the COVID period, we actually conducted two traveler researches basically. And both researchers suggested that many travelers want to stay in properties they have been before, just because they either know the environment already, they know the staff members, the trust is basically built. So target those guests that stayed with you already with personalized offers. So it again comes back to those personalized offers. Reach out to the loyal guests. But also referring to my statistic in the beginning of our conversation today, use your segmentation possibilities to target domestic travelers, because I think this year the situation unfortunately won't change so much compared to last year. If we are still in the vaccine process the way we are, like the progress you see right now, I think until autumn, yeah, we will still continue with that progress. And that means that, or the process, which means that a lot of travelers will still focus on traveling domestically by car and might not get into a plane so easily to travel far away, basically. So that's why focusing on the domestic travelers is important. But then also last year, I think many hoteliers suffered so many cancellations. Reach out to those cancellations, basically, to those bookers that had to cancel. They chose the hotel already once, they will choose it again basically this year. So it's an easy sell. Let's put it that way. But yeah, this is focusing on guests that stayed already or that took that booking decision already. When it comes to new guests that have not explored your property yet, use your review management. I think the review management should not be underestimated. Those guests that do stay in your property these days, and I know it's not that many as usual, but maybe ask them to leave a nice review for you, because they will be the ones that are passing on the information that even during this crisis, everything is going well in your property. You have everything under control. The safety measures are given, hygiene measures are given, and that will pass on the trust to other guests that do not know you yet, for example. And then overall, I would say, I fully agree what you actually said, keep them informed on a regular level. What is going on? What are you preparing for? When are you ready to open? And then they can also take their booking decision. Yeah, many action points on different levels for sure. And then we're actually coming to our last point of today, how Revinate and Private Deal can help. And it's actually very interesting because both of our solutions are very complementary, actually. So when we start with the flow with Revinate, for example, it all starts with the data. So the cleaning process for the hoteliers. The connection to the PMS allows a continuous process of profile synthesis, which leads to clean guest data and better understanding of the hoteliers' guests, such as who are my loyal guests, who are my local guests, who are my family guests, for example. And with setting the right segments, we make sure that the personalized and automated campaigns lead the traveler directly to the website. And this is, I think, where we complement each other, and you would pick it up from here, right, Isabel?
Okay, yeah. In addition to when you know that you have an increasing number of visitors on the hotel website, it's a good point. It's very encouraging, but it's not enough to guarantee a direct booking. So you really need to give guests the best reason to stay on your website, because some habits are difficult to beat and to change in our world. And people have been accustomed to book on OTAs, less on hotel websites. So you need to give something new, a kind of incentive to book on the website. So this is what we're doing with Private Deal, actually. So when the guests land on the hotel website, they see a video price pop up on which they can click, and they land in the Private Deal space of the hotel. So it's a customized Private Deal space. Hotel use it as special offers environment where guests can bid and negotiate their room online in one-to-one negotiation. So guests can book their stay for one or several nights. They can also, in some hotels, come during the day, book a room by the hour, book an afternoon at the spa, or anything they want. And all is handled by the platform. So that's a kind of all-in-one 24-hour product to sell whatever is to sell in your hotel. So what hotels like mostly is that they're in control of the rules. They can monitor the minutes of negotiation. Tool is simple to use, fully automated. No one at the reception is involved in the negotiation with the guest. Everything happens fully automated. And in the end, it brings them additional revenues because we could measure it, and the performance is up to 40% more direct bookings on the hotel website. So that's good. Now, on the guest side, the feedbacks we get is that people like the system because it's fun. You negotiate. So it's kind of like if you were negotiating with someone on the phone, for instance. And it allows you to book at your own price, actually. So each guest has a different amount of money in his pocket, and the system adapts to this reality and this situation. So it is something quite innovative on the market. So that's why it's something which is also working well. So on Revinate's side, I mean, how do you help guests in this way?
Yeah, I think, as I just mentioned, the whole guest journey flow overall describes or is a great help to enhance direct bookings. But yeah, indeed, since we are today talking about how to enhance the direct booking strategy and reduce the OTA dependency, if I would choose just to mention one feature that we have in terms of that, I think it's really that during the profile synthesis and merging the profiles, we also see the cryptic OTA email address and merge them. This is a great feature for hoteliers because this helps the hotelier to automate OTA win-back campaigns through our tool to minimize the commission rates on a yearly basis and make sure that these bookers book direct next time. So that would be the one feature I would say to highlight how to reduce the OTA dependency. If you could choose one, Isabel, which one would it be for you?
I would choose probably the e-couponing because we have an embedded e-couponing function which allows hotels to retarget the lost offers. Because when guests come on the platform and negotiate a deal, some guests don't get their deals. But the guests are known in the platform, they're identified, we can contact them, and the system is able to put together an offer in a nice email, very easily prepared, and it's sent to a whole population that the hotel wants to target again. And it's a very simple way, as you said just before, guests have chosen your hotel, so they know your hotel, they wanted to come. So it's half of the way is already done, and the machine is doing the rest. So that's another example on our platform.
That's amazing. Well, a lot of interesting points here that we gathered together today, and hopefully a bit of inspiration for the hoteliers as well. Thank you so much for joining, Isabel. Let's talk soon again.